The temptation of whom is the Jesus Christ by Satan the devil, the evil spirit, whom had taken total possession of Judas Jesuit Jesus. Matthew chapter 4 verse 1 through 11, and then the Jesus Christ was taken up into heaven by holy angels. And then went into holy habitation where holy city which is in heaven. Then after that the devil who was God real, and whose name was called by the named God. And now God whose name was called Satan and the devil was Satan, and the evil spirit, whom had totally entered into Judas Jesuit Jesus. And afterwards, when he came back to earth from holy city, then Elu were as it was hungry, because he had been gone for 40 days, and also 40 nights. And he hadn't eaten anything as yet, because he had been fasting all those days that Elu had been gone. Then after that Judas Jesuit Jesus, whom was now possessed by Satan, the evil spirit, came to tempt Elu. But Satan had taken total possession of Judas when Judas Jesus went into the wilderness, and by then the devil had possessed Judas as he met with in the wilderness. And then Satan began his temptation of Elu. And Judas, now being totally under the possession of Satan, the evil spirit, the devil, had entered into Judas, and Judas was being led by Satan to where Elu was. And Judas, now being possessed by Satan, began his vicious temptation of And during his temptation, Elu became very hungry and thirsty. Because when he met Judas when he was in the wilderness, and he hadn't as yet eaten anything, because he had been fasting now for 40 days. And this was when Satan through Judas Jesus, whom was possessed by Satan the tempter, came to tempt Elu. And Satan says to if thou art the odd, and Christ, why not turn these stones into bread, so that thou may have something to eat? And this Satan did because he knew that he hadn't eaten anything as yet. And asked Satan, why do you want me to turn all these stones into bread? Then Satan the tempter said to if thou be Elu the odd, and if thou art the light of the world, the sun, then if thou art the bread of life, then why can't thou command that these stones be made into bread? And if thou will, then Satan, shall bow down before thee and worship thee. But ask Satan, why do you want me to turn all these stones into bread so badly? But Elu didn't. And answered Satan, and Elu said, it is written, that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceed from out of the mouth of Elu. And that mankind should be in awe of Elu. And that they all should acknowledge and they all shall give praises, and thanks and thanksgiving to and that they all should worship Elu. Then after that the devil let Judas out of the wilderness. And then the devil, whom was also Satan, and whom was the evil spirit that had taken possession of Judas Jesus, let Judas out of the wilderness, and into the city of Jerusalem. And then Judas climbed up upon the rooftop of the temple. Then Judas went up upon the pinnacle. And Judas Jesuit Jesus sat down upon the pinnacle of the temple. But Elu was carried up in the air, and he was carried to Jerusalem, and to the temple by angels, and he was flying upon throne which was upon cherub. And Elu was flying upon cherub which was now hovering above the pinnacle of the temple. And then Satan, the devil, said unto Elu, if thou be Elu, the light of sun, then cast thyself down from off of thine throne which is upon thine cherubs, because it is written, that thine angels shall protect thee, and that thine holy angels shall take charge of thee, Elu. And they shall thwart any mishaps which shall arise concerning thee, and also they shall fulfill thine commandments, and anything to do with thine well-being. And in the event that thou shalt stumble, and thou shalt begin to fall, then they shall catch thee with their hands. And they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou shalt fall. And if thou shalt dash thy foot against a stone, then they shall prevent thee from being hurt. Then the Jesus Christ, said to Satan, whom had totally taken the possession of Judas Jesus, Satan, it is written again, that Satan you shalt not tempt whom is the odd. But yet once again the devil tempted Elu. When Satan he showed Elu, all the kingdoms of the world, and also the glory of them. But Elu said to Satan, these things can't even be compared to E's, nor neither E's glory neither me Elu, whom E's the odd. And whose glory is brighter than the noonday sun. And also the lightnings and lighting of the glory of Elu, and of all those things which are in E's holy city where E's holy habitation is. And also they can't be compared to all those things which are in E's holy kingdom. And not even all the glory of the things that are now in E's world. Satan they can't be compared to the glory of Elu. Nor will they ever be, because they would never ever be all to be compared with E's glory and also E's glorious holy city which is exceeding high, and which is in E's holy habitation. But when Judas had seen all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them which Satan had shown to E, then Judas came to his senses. And he became himself again. And then Judas was exceedingly glad. Then Satan said to Judas Jesuit Jesus, all these things will I Satan give to thee, because they were being given to me. And also I will give them to you because you have fallen down and worship me. Then Judas Jesus said to Elu, thou should fall down and worship Satan too. Then Satan would also give you all these kingdoms, and also the glory that comes with them. Then Elu said to Judas, whom was still under the possession of Satan, get thee behind me, Satan, for it is written, that everyone shall worship E, and that every knee shall bow before Elu, and they all shall worship. And even you Satan shalt worship E, because it is written. You and every soul shall worship E, because only Elu, you shall worship because Elu is E, whom is also Elu'hymn, and the odd, and whom is called Holy E, and the Almighty E, and whom is the Holy One whom is called Elu, and Elu'hymn. And whom is also is me Elu'hymn, and also the odd one whom is called the odd. And you all shalt acknowledge E, and you all shall only serve and worship and obey E, and thou shalt reverence Elu, whom alone is called the odd. Then Satan the devil leave off from his temptation of Elu. Then Satan whom had enter into Judas, then Satan beheld Elu, as the odd. And then also Judas Jesus whom was still under the possession of Satan became the dwelling place for Satan. And then Satan left from there when he was being rebuked by E, and when he was forced to acknowledge Elu, as the odd. And also that E, was the Holy One, and that E was Elu, whom was E the Son. Then E's angels them came to Elu, and they ministered unto Elu, whom is the Sovereign One and whom is E the King of Kings and the Sovereign King of all the heavens and the earth. And whom is awed by all those whom are E's. Thank you, the end, to be continued.